Hi everybody, this is episode 2 of my review of a nonprofit thrift store where I volunteered called Twice But Nice in Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, Canada. In the first episode, I talked about how things behind the scenes are very toxic and dysfunctional. The only team there was the manager, the assistant manager, and the 2 paid daughters of the manager. I also talk about the tasks that I saw given to management, 2 paid daughters, versus the 2 paid staff members who are not family, as well as the volunteers. They also threatened to sue me with their own homemade threat letter, and that's a pretty low blow. That is an awful way to bully someone, because a lot of people can't afford to fight back, right? So you might as well scare them into silence if they speak out about you. So they have recently made a donation to the Fort Saskatchewan Nourishment Center, which is the food bank of my city. On the left is the president of the board. She's one of the 2 people who signed off on the homemade legal threat letter to intimidate me. I got this photo off of the Twice But Nice website, and I'm curious to know whose idea it was for her to pose with that puzzle and then point out that she's making a donation to the thrift store. Like, this blatant virtue signaling doesn't surprise me at all, because here is the threat letter that she signed off on. She didn't even call me to ask what happened, nothing. And the other person who signed off on this is the assistant manager. I'll show you who she is here. Sweet as punch, right? It's because she wants you to go in and spend money. But one of my favorite sayings is, you can always judge a person's character by the way they treat those who can do nothing for them. This is a video of the assistant manager and her partner flipping me off in the Walmart parking lot. This is after they threatened me and I stood up to them, and now they seem to be pouting about it. I am quite surprised that she still works there. I sent this video to the president of the board, but I guess this hostile behavior, according to them, is acceptable. The donation to the food bank is amazing. I love the food bank, and I wish I knew about it when I couldn't afford to eat. Some of the people they help are homeless. The irony here is that I saw the manager and one of her paid daughters out back in the donation area laughing at a homeless woman pushing a shopping cart. She was across the alley, and they were being pretty discreet about it. What I mean by that is that they were being discreet enough so that she wouldn't notice that they were laughing at her. They knew her name. She was banned from the store because she is aggressive. So I guess that's funny. When the manager walked in, she asked one of the staff members, non-family staff member, "Didn't you see so-and-so?" And she said, "No." And then she said, "Oh, well, how could you not notice her?" And she's laughing about it. Now, to spot the manager, she has this bravado to her. She thinks that her shit doesn't stink. And she puts on this front that she is this expert, this HR expert, so knowledgeable in employee psychology. I can see right through it. And then her daughter's like, "Oh, she's also aggressive to people's dogs. She kicks somebody's dogs." And she's giggling about it. Okay, this isn't fucking funny. I am disgusted, and you people should be ashamed of yourselves for laughing at a less fortunate person. I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly, that they also said she is a meth addict. Okay, let's talk about this. Who suffers when somebody is homeless and or addicted to drugs? It's not just the homeless drug addict. It's their family, their parents, siblings, nieces, nephews, their own children. That's fucking funny. When I was 12, I was removed from my home and placed in an emergency group home. Thankfully, there were no other kids in that bedroom, although it had several beds. And I was terrified to leave that room in the morning. I couldn't imagine how a toddler would feel going into a home. At least I had some sort of understanding about what was going on. Chances are, with regards to this woman, that other people are suffering too. She's banned from the store, which is justifiable because she's aggressive. As the manager of that nonprofit organization, you should be setting an example and not behaving like a disgusting pig. The same manager, boy, does she ever have an interesting attitude about volunteers. One of her paid daughters mentioned a task that had to be done. I think it was folding bags, reusable bags. And she said, "Yeah, just put it up on the shelf. That's a good job for a volunteer." As time went by, I really started to feel like volunteers were just there to serve them and that they were doing us a favor by letting us work there. Now, I witnessed a lot of complaining about the management and the 2 paid staff daughters. One issue in particular is having to pick up after the daughters. One time the 2 daughters were at a desk doing something, working on something together. I don't remember exactly what it was. And right next to them was a broom next to a large pile of debris. They just swept it into a pile and left it there. And I had to keep walking by it, almost stepping in it. Eventually, I became frustrated. I grabbed a dustpan and I cleaned it up. And one of the daughters said, "Oh, I could have done that." Well, then why didn't you? Or let me guess, Is that also a good job for a volunteer? When I started volunteering there, it didn't take me long to notice how divided things were. I would go for lunch downstairs in the lunch area with 2 volunteers and 1 paid staff member. And then there was another paid staff member who didn't really interact with anybody. She was trying to warm up to me. She was really nice. And then the team there was the manager, assistant manager, and her 2 paid daughters. And when I'd go for lunch with these people, boy, was there a lot of complaining, specifically by the 2 volunteers. The 1 staff member, she wasn't happy at all, but she was very polite about it. She was disappointed. But oh my God, the bickering. And I couldn't believe the way these 2 women were speaking about the management and the daughters. Like, I'm new there. And I'm wondering, like, what have I given off to make them think it's okay to talk about other people like that in front of me?